Welcome back to the Wondercat channel, home to weekly Pauper Deck Tech videos. And today we're going to be covering a list that plays very similarly to the Waymon combo deck, but is arguably faster since our WinCon playstyle creates Rush Digimon swinging for victory as quickly as we possibly can. The deck looks to abuse the when attacking effect of Metal Piranimon. When attacking, play a Piranimon from its sources without paying its cost. Pretty cool. This is basically King Waymon all over again. We don't have the benefit of being able to bounce targets like King Waymon can, but Metal Piranimon is cheaper to digivolve into, and like King Waymon, benefits from a when attacking effect that isn't a once per turn. So if we can get multiple attacks out and we can get multiple Pirani underneath him, we're definitely setting up for a pretty cool and pretty sweet mid to late game. Metal Piranimon is like the cool older brother to King Waymon. If whales aren't your thing, maybe eating your opponent alive with piranhas en masse will be. So, what does Piranimon do, and what do we have access to? Well, we have two different printings currently. Our first one is a 7k 7 play cost digicost of 3 inherited. When attacking, trash the top Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. This inherited is going to be nice since we do have cards that care about our opponent's materials to ensure that we get the max benefit out of our Metal Pirani. All in all, it's a very basic card. That's okay. Its inherited being a when attacking means that we can trash material before triggering Metal Pirani's effect to play this for free. It's pretty good. We play the full playset because, of course, why wouldn't we? Piranha, travel, and scavenge in packs, turning bloodied waters into bloodbaths. We want the most consistency as possible out of our Metal Piranimons when attacking, so of course we'll play the playset. Other copy, interestingly, very similar and yet slightly different. It has the same digicost, the same play cost, the same power, but with a lack of inherited, it gains rush. So we have a free extra swing when having this under our level 6. Very, very tasty. I should also note that this deck heavily benefits off of the aquatic trait, as you've probably already seen, our Piranimon and Metal Pirani, aquatic. So we can run great support cards for this top end. But again, with the full playset, we run 8 copies of Piranimon total to ensure that we see them as often as possible to digivolve into our Metal Pirani. I'm hoping that we get some new support for this Digimon soon, or at least a better reprint of Piranimon. Bump this particular kind of play style up to like maybe 10 level 5s. Since these two variations, or these two cards in particular, do feel slightly outdated, a little weak for traditional level 5s, at least in 2025 moving into 2026. But in Pauper, it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. So, you think that we would always prefer the Rush Pirani underneath Metal, but it's not really all that cut and dry. Because with 3 copies of Minami, an amazing blue Pauper Tamer, she gives us the ability to give any Digimon we play from materials Rush. Now, generic Pirani with an inherited is now better with a Minami on board. She's super strong as a turn extender and is just kinda universally useful in most blue decks that look to swing aggressively. I did originally try to build this list with a like Labramon, Caesarmon, just to get more free bodies on board to benefit off playing her more. But she's still just that good that we don't need to play the doggos to justify playing her as like a 3 of. I'm happy to see her at almost any point in the game, as long as she's not in my starting hand, because she's more a mid to late game kind of card, and yeah. She can be a little bit of a dead card early, but you know, if you draw into her turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, it's kind of like, yeah, it's fine. So, with all our Piranimon having Rush through their own effects and Minami, who doesn't give the Digimon you played Rush, it allows you to give any one of your blue Digimon Rush when you play a Digimon from materials. Like, she's just so good, man. It's important to note that with said Digimon gaining Rush for the turn, it doesn't just that Digimon gains Rush, it gains Rush for the turn. If you Digivolve into Metal Pirani off of this Minami, Rushed Pirani, for example, we have another level 6 swing into another Pirani that could also have Rush if playing the BT9 variant, meaning we go from 1 stack to 3 bodies with a 3 memory investment. So, How do we turn our Metal Piranimon from a goldfish to a true river giant? Well, with 3 copies of Yao for starters, BT19's Yao is one of the best blue tamers we can play in this format. It's a memory setter, and whenever we would attack with a sea animal or a Digimon with Aqua in its traits, suspend Yao and throw a level 5 or lower Digimon with Aqua or sea animal in any of its traits as its bottom material. And because our dearest Piranimons are aquatic, we are given a great combo piece that can load up our metal with extra Pirani to free play on swing. We do play another tamer that helps generate memory, and since Yao does cost 4, she's okay as a 3 off. She's very often online, and we only really need 1 copy on board to pop off, since throwing multiple level 5s underneath the Metal Pirani per turn is kind of like unnecessary. You swing, play the one, okay, cool. If you've digivolved into it already and then you swing, you play out one, you throw one under, like you've loaded up for the next turn or possibly this turn again. But, yeah. But yeah, our next Pirani Enabler and one of the more interesting cards in the deck, Wave of Reliability, a 2 cost blue option that when played trash any 2 materials from Digimon your opponent controls, then if you control a Joe Tamer, choose a Digimon you control. If your opponent has no Digimon with as many or fewer, or more materials under it, unsuspend that Digimon. So, we have a bit more material trashing, but most importantly, we have a way to unsuspend our Metal Piranimon. This, of course, will only work if we have a Joe Keto Tamer, which they're all rare. Until, of course, we got the adventure decks. Joe and Mimi give us a Pauper legal Joe Tamer, a 3 cost blue green tamer that at start of main, if we control an adventure Digimon, gain a memory, and by suspending it, you can reduce the play cost of the next adventure Digimon you play by 1. With 3 copies of this, we round out our tamer lineup, gives us a bit more flexibility in both our memory and ways to unlock our Metal Pirani to its full potential. But we can't just play Joe and Mimi for Wave of Reliability. So we're also going to run a 3-3 split of Adventure, Gomamon, and Ikakumon. These two aren't aquatic like the rest of the deck, unfortunately, but it's going to help us in other ways. Gomamon is a Floodgate rookie, stopping opponents from gaining memory outside of Tamer effects, an effect that would absolutely cripple the Pulsemon list that I'd previously covered. Ikakumon helps bump up our adventure count and is able to be played from security, giving us a level 4 to free play. It's a nice bonus. On play and when digivolving, trash 2 materials, then one of their Digimon with no materials can't attack or block until their turn ends. It's pretty good. A great defensive level 4 that pulls its weight. It's inherited when attacking. If you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, draw 1. Again, a really nice addition in a deck where we want to swing with our Metal Pirani. Going over what we've already covered, we can have a stack of this, BT4's Piranimon, and Yao. We get to start our turn at 3, Digivolve into Metal Pirani, we draw 1. We then attack, triggering Yao, Pirani, and Ikaku. We can resolve Ikaku first, drawing a card. We can throw another Pirani into the stack with Yao by suspending her. Then you trash a material with your first Pirani. Then we play out Pirani, preferring a rush one if we have it. The value on this deck swinging is crazy. You cannot sit there and be passive on board. You must swing if you want to win. We might as well touch on our egg though. This deck has quite a few options to play with here. Like, it's just universally very open-ended. BT7's Bukamon seems like an obvious choice since we're looking to play things from materials, though the deck doesn't do it nearly as much as what our Waymon list did. EX7's Hiyarimon draws us a card when attacking as long as our opponent's Digimon have no materials, which we've already seen, we trash quite a bit. This is not a bad choice. BT6's Kiaromon just draws us a card whenever we would trash one of the materials, even better than Hiyari, not even needing to attack. Kiaromon is probably the best all-rounded blue egg, unless you need one of a specific name or trait for your lists. Our actual egg, though, we're going to play BT22's Piyoyomon. Very cute little card. Once per turn, whenever we would throw an Aqua or Sea animal into our Digimon's materials via an effect, draw a card. Between our Yaos and other support pieces, we can trigger this enough. It's a nice choice. It's also very thematic since we play plenty of Liberator pieces that naturally go with this particular egg. Starting off with BT22 Sango on play, you can place this card under one of your Aqua or Sea animals as its bottom material to give it blocker and it being unable to be deleted in battle until the end of your opponent's next turn. This is actually just an insane version of jamming, which it gives as an inherited. Not only does it protect your Metal Piranimon on swing when checking security, which, an 11k body doesn't bode well for us, but it protects us when the opponent wants to swing back into our Metal Pirani on the crackback. This slowly got bumped up over time because it's a great card to end your turn on. Having a couple jamming inheritors isn't all that bad, and it's a liberator, which means it's searchable off our BT19 Sango. On play, reveal the top three, add one Aqua or Sea animal in traits, and one card with the liberator trait. This is able to add everything Digimon wise, but our small adventure shell, which is more than manageable and still worth playing. Inherited, end of attack, gain 1 memory. This inherited is great because when throwing this under Yao, you won't miss that trigger's timing.
And our last rookie, 3 Gizamon from EX9. A blue rookie with training, which is not relevant to our deck. A sea animal in traits, and when attacking, trash the bottom material of one of your opponent's Digimon. It's played here as another useful stack control piece to, help trash our opponent's bits and pieces. And it's traded to be searchable by our Sango and able to be thrown under by our Yaos. All in all, to solid inclusion, nothing too spicy here. He does exactly what we need our rookies to do. But with 3 copies of this, we've rounded out our rookie lineup. This deck throws out the traditional 4-4-4-12 rookie split, going for consistency, and running a quad 3 split so that we have space to run our Gomamons. We have to remember that with a couple early Joes out on board, we can end up starting our turns with up to 5 memory, 6 if we're lucky enough to see all of them on board, and have an adventure trait. It's not bad. It's a bit of a pipe dream, sure, but that's also why we have to run our Yao, so we aren't memory starved. We can still rely on starting with a minimum of 3 most games, most turns, and to ensure we get the most value out of our Yao, we're also going to be playing 2 copies of BT19 Shellmon. An Evo cost of 2 when digivolving. If you control 1 or fewer tamers, play Yao from hand for free. Inherited, end of attack, gain 1 memory. These inheriteds can slowly grind up enough value to have our free play Piranimons digivolve into Metal Pirani in hand, which can in turn extend our turns even further. This was definitely a card that I felt like I would have loved to have put in our Waymon combo deck, but because Waymon is so DS trait heavy and relying so much on being able to recur things under our DS trait Waymon, we didn't really have the space to be able to play this to benefit off of free playing our Yaos, so Piranha being able to play this is certainly a positive in that respect. It's not super big to our deck's game plan, but, being able to free play tamers and cheating out a memory setter is never a bad thing. It's searchable off both being aquatic and liberator, so Sango can hit it on either side, which again is very, very strong. And it's just not bad. The Shellmon that is very strong for us, though, which will be our Shellmon from BT22. This will trigger our egg with its on-play when digivolving effect, being able to place a level 5 or lower Aqua or Sea animal in traits from your hand underneath any of your Digimon as its bottom material. What this means is we can actually rebuild our already set up Metal Piranimon, generating us even more when attacking value, more bodies, and in turn more wins. We only have 2 more cards to discuss before our final notes and getting to the overall deck list. We play 3 copies of Howling Memory Boost. It's our blue memory boost, trashing 2 materials from a Digimon. Thereby choosing a Digimon with no materials, it cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. On delay, gain 2 memory. This is usually our turn 3 to turn 4 play to remove materials, slow down our opponent. It's a well-designed memory boost for blue in the Pauper format, and 3 copies is usually my go-to number for most memory boosts in decks unless they're particularly Digicost heavy or have added benefits that benefit the deck itself. Our last card in the deck, though, a single copy of Unique Emblem Poseida Lagoon. A 3-cost option that allows us to play a Sangomon or Yao from hand or trash without paying its cost. And on delay, when a Yao you control suspends, crack this and one of your Digimon may digivolve into an aquatic liberator trait mon for 3 less. Now, this is basically just a free Digivolution into Shellmon. It's a little niche, yes, but this is why we only play the 1 copy. It's more so just a way to recycle our rookies in blue and could be considered a flexible BT19/BT22 Sango on a stick, which is great. Like, if we really consider the fact that this is either one of our Sangos, it could play a tamer for cheaper, it's got the ability to Digivolve us into a level 4 for free at a later turn, which allows us to pop off on those turns that we might have an extra Howling Memory Boost laying around. The card is just really, really cool. But that is the end of our deck profile. I was meant to make this video last week. I kind of procrastinated a little bit. I really need to get on top of pumping out a couple more of these because I have so many backlog right now that I want to share with you guys. This one is, again, meant to be like Waymon's cool older brother. Swinging with big level 6s, pumping out level 5s, swinging with Rush. Free bodies galore, you know how it is. Really happy that the deck came together the way it did. I do think if we could replace anything, the Adventure Shell feels like it's definitely like a shoe-in to make sure that we have a cheap way to play out our, or to unsuspend our Metal Piranimon. But our only other real good option is either the Young Pengmon, which realistically I don't want to play in this list, and the V-Force. There's like a starter deck card, the starter deck blue option that's just like pay 3 unsuspended Digimon. It's like wave of reliability, it's a memory cheaper, it trashes things, and technically we have a Joe that can generate us memory and make things cheaper to play. Like, it's okay. But yeah, all in all, yeah, I also added the strength to each individual card, that, you know, at least to how strong I think most of the cards are, and hopefully just to give you guys an idea of where the strength of these decks lie, so you might have a better idea on what's important and how you want to play out, you know, your games and what you want to see when you're playing these decks. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the love and support, and I will see you on the next video where we will cover a really sick adventure list that's looking to, again, pump out level 5s, but in a completely different manner, and it's going to be absolutely hilarious. It's also very degenerate. It's probably one of the more disgusting decks I've done. I know I've said it once or twice, but I guess I can't stop cooking, guys. I can't. It's too much fun. Anyway, catch us on the next video. Look after yourselves. Until next time, ta-ta.